Welcome to the Biz Gone Social podcast. We help entrepreneurs navigate how to get known, get customers, and get the edge over their competition. Here is your host, Lorraine Duncan.
So here we are on the Biz Gone Social podcast, and I'm so glad to be here. And my promise to you, as always, is I want to give you a little bit of verbal caffeine that's going to energize your business and your social media marketing and help you stay social. Because after all, don't you want to be the business everyone's talking about? I know I do. And I'm so stoked today to have Linda Kuppersmith with me. Welcome, Linda.
Hello. Thank you so much for being able to invite me on to this. I'm really excited about being here.
Awesome. And so could you tell my listeners a little bit about your business and what you do?
Happily. So I am the owner of CMIT Solutions, and the CM this year stands for Completely Managed IT. And so I've got a kind of a tech background, but we have an awful lot of fun being able to take care of small and mid-sized technology problems for companies.
So how did you get started in doing this? Like, what brought you to the point of opening up your own business and becoming that IT person for everyone?
Well, it was something that I never in my wildest dreams imagined that I would do. I had first, and I'll be dating myself, worked with a TRS Radio Shack, a TRS 80 back in high school. We really had a great, program at that time. And I just got hooked on essentially what is problem solving. I love solving problems and get a little zing when I do something on a computer and voila, it actually does what I ask it to be able to do. And I came to a point in my career where it just really made sense to be able to go off and try to do this on my own. Funny story is my dentist, many years, Dr. Stein, here in Stamford, Connecticut, kept on saying to me, because he's actually a business guy besides being a great dentist, saying, Linda, why are you doing this for other people? Why don't you do this, on your own? And everything aligned, and I ended up purchasing into a CMIT Solutions franchise. What's interesting about CMIT Solutions is that it's not like a cookie cutter kind of a thing, but they really enable someone that has a desire to run a technology company to set up a technology company without having to figure out all of the vendors and the marketing. We hire our technicians, but they really provide us with a great framework to be able to go into business. And that was 17 years ago. And I would not trade that transition for a moment. It's given me flexibility in my life. It's given me an income stream, and it's given me an opportunity to learn something new from people in technology every day.
Yeah, that's awesome. What would you say, you said 17 years ago and you haven't really looked back. What has changed from 17 years ago? Like when you first started in the industry to like today?
In the beginning, our services were predominantly done on site. We went to people's offices, and our biggest challenge was getting people to understand that you don't want to just wait for a computer to break, but that you actually had to start managing it in a proactive basis. So I use the analogies of being able to say, well, you go to the dentist to be able to get your teeth cleaned, you get your oil changed in your car. Well, you have to be able to do some maintenance on your computer as well. And so our challenges were being able to shuffle our techs all through Fairfield County, getting them to our clients and being able to really start that education that a computer was not a set and forget. Now, 95+% of the work that we do happens over an internet connection. Staff is now a completely distributed type of an entity. We, of course, continue to be able to offer on-site services, and it's for things like changing out a computer or a network, or just simply being able to do those kind of tasks elbow to elbow next to our clients to help them teach them about all of the technology that's on their computer.
Interesting. So I have a friend who actually worked for a law firm, and now pretty much predominantly she works from home. And so I I believe they had an in-service IT guy that works for them that came out and set up her computer stuff all at her home. Do you do, since the pandemic and everything, do you find yourself doing in-home IT too, or is it just predominantly in office buildings and online?
No, even before COVID and the pandemic, we had a lot. We were picking up a lot of solopreneurs, 1-2 person companies that simply wanted to be able to work from home. And then, of course, the pandemic was this wild rush of how do we get people to be able to work from home. So during that time, we were known to be able to leave equipment on somebody's doorstep and then be able to do a video call with them to be able to help them hook it up. And yes, we still go into people's homes to be able to make sure that the wiring and the Wi-Fi and everything is working. And now it's really about understanding how work technology, or what we call work from home technology, needs to coincide inside of the home with your home automation, like your Alexas and your Nests. And, from a security perspective, we have to be very careful about equipment that is being proactively managed, which means that we know that it's secure and it's safe, to all of the other stuff, which I have to be able to treat pretty much as a plague. If you're not being managed, and nobody's going to manage that Alexa, God, she comes up with the most interesting things in the world, but no, she's not a safe thing. And so we need to be able to learn how to separate, even in a home, those things from being able to interact with one another.
Interesting. I brought a whole bunch of things to my mind, but for using the time better, I'm going to move on to another question. But there's probably, I do a lot of networking, and I've probably met, at least in the last 5 years, at least 50 IT companies or people who claim to do IT. What separates you from other IT companies?
That's a great question. So there's several things. CMIT is in a unique position to be able to service a computer anywhere in the United States because of that national network that's built through that franchise model. We operate over 300 offices, and we've got coverage all across the United States as well as into Canada. So I have a lot of customers increasingly that have satellite offices or have people working in remote locations, and we can still get to them. I think the other big thing is that we really are a team of helper personalities. So besides my guys being really good on a keyboard, they're really good with people, and they want and thrive on being a hero every day. So at the end of the day, we really care about our clients. It's not just a transaction. It's about, we're here for the long haul, and we want to be able to see them succeed and be safe and be happy.
That's awesome. It's something me and my brother talk about this all the time, is, especially when we're calling doctors' offices and stuff, the lack of customer service lately has been absolutely horrendous. And, you're on dialing, 1, dialing 2, and then, oh no, 2, you need to go to 3. And then, it goes on and on. I remember one time trying, and then ending up getting someone in North Carolina who was actually managing, that never had seen the office before. And I'm like thinking, oh, this is so bad. So it's good that your company cares about the client, and it also cares about customer service, because that's important. That's what really matters.
It really is. We've got live answer, you call. We encourage everybody to use whatever mode of communication they like to, whether it's chat, text, email, but that phone is answered within 3 rings.
Yeah. So we all have clients that we love, and that we wish that more of our clients were like this one particular client. What kind of person is your favorite type of client to work with?
I would have to say one of our favorite kinds are clients that are in a growth mindset. They are really charged up and looking to be able to grow their business. And so what happens is they need to be able to put all of their energy into generating revenue, their customer service, and they want to be able to bring to the table a partner that can shed them of that IT worry and that IT problem. We have one great client recently that we're helping them with their third acquisition. And so that also becomes a really fun thing, because as they do acquisitions, we get to be exposed to yet another kind of their type of industry business and a whole nother set of people. So being able to work at that kind of that more strategic level as well as the day-to-day is very satisfying for myself and my whole team.
That's awesome. And, it's like I could see it, just in hearing your voice, how much that's a really great thing for you, and how much you love working with these particular type of clients. So I'm going to switch gears a little bit, because a lot of people who listen to this are business owners or want to be business owners. And so I'm going to ask you some questions just about business in general. It's like, so what do you enjoy most about being in business for yourself?
Continuously learning. I learned long ago that I would never be happy if I have to do the same thing day after day after day, which even I struggle as a business owner. Yes, I have to invoice. I have to do check deposits, although that's a fun thing, and so those are the things that, no, I would much rather wake up in the morning and say, okay, let's redesign our organization, or let's look at this new product, and let's look at the way that people are using Teams. So that was one of the exercises we did. Well, people use Teams for video calling. Well, then we have to tell them, yeah, you can do safe texting through Teams instead of through texting on your phone. And oh, did you happen to notice that there's a little tab next to the Teams thing where you can put your files? And oh, we can hang a calendar, and we could do lots of different things in Teams, so that it really becomes now a way of taking remote desk workforce rather, and being able to create a community. It's never going to be the same as being elbow to elbow, but it's as good as we can when we have to be able to work through a computer screen.
Absolutely. We always talk about the glamour of being in business for ourselves, and everybody's like, oh, wow, that's so cool that you're in business for yourself. But, there's a flip side to it, and we have challenges. And what would you say is your biggest challenge in owning your own business?
The challenge, I think, for many of us in the tech industry, and we see a couple other industries right now, is staffing. Staffing has always, been a problem, and now, post pandemic, it's even worse so. I think the statistic I saw recently was that there are 0.07 candidates for every one tech job. So one of the things I've been doing to be able to help the industry is being able to speak to middle school and high school audiences, trying to be able to get them to understand that careers and professions in tech are really, really good. We're not just a bunch of boring geeks. Far from it. And there's a lot of advantages to being able to do that. So finding good people, and Lorraine, as you mentioned, being able to find the mixture of people that know what they're doing technically, but also have the people skills, those customer service skills, and like people, becomes a real challenge for us.
Absolutely. So we're coming to the end of this call, and again, a lot of people out there are doing well in their businesses, or they may be discouraged. If there was one piece of advice that you could give to somebody that's in business right now and needs to move forward a little bit, or maybe they're just, it could be a couple things actually, or maybe they're just struggling, or maybe they're thinking of, having a business. So it's kind of a multiple answer for you, but you could choose one or choose them all, however you'd like.
So it took me many years to embrace this because of my comment before about not enjoying and avoiding doing repetitive things. But one of the things that has now brought me a tremendous amount of success is embracing the fact that my life, my work day, my work month needs to have rhythm. There needs to be a daily rhythm, a weekly rhythm, a quarterly rhythm, a yearly rhythm, and there have to be those long-term goals. And I recently have used the techniques coming out of David Allen's Getting Things Done, the entrepreneurial operating system, to be able to get some of those rhythms in place. And much to my surprise, what I found is that they weren't boring, but they gave me pockets of when to do this kind of activity versus that kind of activity. And it has significantly decreased my stress level, because now I know that there's a place in my schedule and my rhythm for doing these different activities.
Yeah, that's great. And I every year I pick a word, and my word for this year was flow. And because I always felt like there were so many things that were just like fighting against each other. You have to be here, but no, you should be doing this. And I thought very carefully about, I was going to hire my first person. And I had used virtual assistants before, and they were disasters. And just because they're, you'd spend all this time with them and train them, and then all of a sudden they weren't working for you anymore. Or like one time I hired a virtual assistant that didn't know how to read, which I didn't know because they must have had somebody fill out the application, and then they did a verbal with me through Zoom. So I learned a few things about that. And one of the things is there's these wonderful tests out there, like the Colby A, Strength Finders, and the Wealth Dynamics test, 3 amazing tests. And for hiring, I hired to my Colby A this time. And this time she's out of Pennsylvania, but she's not really a virtual. She's actually my assistant, kind of like you have an assistant. She does all my scheduling of my social media stuff for different clients and stuff. But what I was going to say is that even flow with your team and flow with the people you work with, so important. So that's just a great piece of advice. So if people resonate with you today, how would they get in touch with you?
Very easily, they can stop by at our website, which is CMIT Stanford with an M like monkey, FORD. Linda Kuppersmith, KUPPERSMITH in LinkedIn. We keep a little bit of a Facebook, and a Twitter presence as well. And then they can always give us a call, 203-595-9091. Option 2 is our live answer, and you'll always be able to ask somebody right there, hey, put me through to Linda.
Awesome. And I want to thank you again, Linda, for being on my podcast, and wishing you so much luck in your business, and actually more than luck, but real concrete results. And until next week, everybody, I will talk to you soon.
Thanks for listening to the Biz Gone Social podcast. Find us on Instagram at BizGoneSocial for extra tips. Check back weekly for new episodes. Until next time, stay social.